One thing I want to change is this column name from distance to distance in miles, and that's just for consistency's sake because for our shoes we have distance in miles. Same with activities, we're calling it distance in miles. And we have another column here called distance, but that is for when a user is adding their activity. But this is actually this is another column that gets stored in the database. And distance in here is kind of ambiguous. It's like you don't really know what the unit is, and for now I want it to be in miles. So to do that, we're going to run a migration. So we're going to do Rails generate migration. And we'll just be change distance to distance in miles on totals. And that generated this migration file, but it's blank. And we can go in here and we can use the rename column method. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste this. So we want to get this. This is the database table, so this should be totals. Column name, new column name, so this should be distance, and then this should be distance in miles. Now if I go ahead and run this strong migrations, it's probably going to throw an error. So let's just give it a shot though. So Rails db migrate. Yep. So there's a lot of work involved to rename a table column. So luckily I haven't pushed this to production yet. We're only working locally. So what I'm going to do here is kind of cheat a bit. And strong migrations allows us to disable a check. So what I'm going to do here is copy this, paste it in here, and instead of disabling the add index check, I'll just do rename column. I think that should work. And if I run this, it should run without throwing any errors. Yep, that worked. And if we go into our schema file, we should say that this now says distance in miles. But we're not done yet because our application is still referring to the distance column. And that's why strong migrations kind of throws an error, because this can be pretty destructive. That this is something you would need to follow these steps if your app was already in production, because you would break your app. So the first thing I'm going to do is go into the totals YAML file and change distance to distance in miles, because there's no longer a distance column on that table. Then let's go into our total model, and I don't think we have anything with distance in here, but I think we have something with activity. So let's see here, if I just search for total. Yeah, so total distance, I'm going to change that to, okay, so we have that. Total distance should probably just be distance in miles. Actually, no, we'll keep that as total distance. Or no, you know what? Take that back. Let's change it to total distance in miles. Now this is just the name of a variable. That's has nothing to do with the change we did. I just want to be consistent. And then activities.sum distance in miles is that. And then we want to change distance to distance in miles, because there's no longer a distance column. Duration stays the same. Let me just do a quick search for distance. So we have distance. Okay, so I think that's good. I know we also want to check our partial, because this should really be distance in miles. And that's all I can think of for now, but luckily we don't have to think because we wrote some tests. So let's just run the test suite. Okay, see, we do have something I missed, so let's check this out on line 140. Oh, okay, so this is a test that failed, but it failed for the wrong reason. So this really should be distance in miles. Let's run the test suite again. Okay, we're still getting a few cases of that. I think it's just because total.distance is not a thing, so Let's do distance in miles. I think there was another failure here. 120, 130, so distance in miles. Let's give this a shot. Cool, those all passed. And let's just run the system test suite. So Rails test system. Okay, so we got one failure, and let's check this out. So it's actually happening in our test. So I think we want to just change this. I'm gonna. It looks like that's the only one. So distance in miles. I'm gonna just search for distance in here. I think that's it. Let's run the test suite one more time. Cool, that's all set. So let's go ahead and commit this. And we'll just say rename distance column to distance in miles on totals table.